Good afternoon, everybody. It is Friday. Hope you're having a good one. Friday, March 10th, 2:30 p.m. Eastern. We got about a half hour here to hang out together. We got a lot to talk about. Lots going on in the broader market. I covered it fairly in depth in the stock market wrap-up video from yesterday, talking about the financial sector and everything that's going on. And obviously that's having an impact on cryptocurrency. And essentially over the last 2 days, a wave of fear has hit the markets again. And so we're seeing the reaction to that wave of fear. Before we get to the charts and talk about that a little bit further, a couple things. Number one, for ChartGuys members, we've got a new channel called #Meetup, talking about the meetup we're going to do, looking like it's going to be the Boulder, Colorado area in July. So hop onto that if you want to hang out. Number two, going to do a giveaway for a membership month, free month with the ChartGuys. So keep an eye out on Twitter and Instagram. I'm going to post that later this evening. Other than that, that's it. Let's look at SPY. So SPY bears have the volume and the big drop. We have the little weekly lower high and lower low. And as I've been talking about recently, this is a lot like this move where we saw the weekly bounce attempt, the higher low attempt. We rolled over very quickly and then was followed by a lot of red. And so now we have that same little bounce attempt, the rollover, and the monthly consolidation is now a bit more clear. So I'm still open to an inverse head and shoulders on the monthly time frame, and I'm going to do a long-term technical analysis video over the weekend about markets in general, and I'll touch on Bitcoin in that, but keep an eye out for that. So that's a possibility, but there's obviously no indication of a bottom being found right now. We have a downtrend. As far as I'm concerned, we're in a weekly, daily, and hourly downtrend right now. And so we're going to use those short-term trends as our guide, just like we've been using the hourly trend as our guide the last couple of days. And that helped bears grab positions today as we saw some weak bounce attempts that didn't get any follow through before rolling over to lower lows. So the broader market is weak. The dollar is weak as well. Notable pullback on the dollar. And again, we're breaking this correlation because what we're seeing right now is fear based on the financial sector, fear based on news, and has nothing to do with the dollar. So correlation out the window for now. You can see the VIX, big spike the last 2 days. And again, the what's going on in the financial sector is this, I don't even know the name of the bank. This is a new, stock for me, SIVB. But this bank essentially going under, just like SI. SI was the first to go under. That was crypto related. SIVB, not necessarily crypto related. They are a bank for venture capitalists, for tech sector, for biotech sector, and they are dumping and now they're halted and it hit the fan. So they dumped an insane amount in 2 days and this is now spreading fear for contagion. So you have banks, you have small regional banks in California, or no, it's in New York. Forget which state. It's either California or New York. Double check me on that. But you have small regional banks getting crushed for the potential that, I think it's California, for the potential that they are going to get hammered as well. And so now again, it's just, this is giving people flashbacks to 2008 and everything that went on with the contagion. And once one goes under, then the exposure of the others go under. And so that's why you're seeing the biotech sector. Look at this dump. This is an entire sector. And in the last 2 days, it's down. It has dropped 9%. That's a ton for an individual sector. And this is the financial sector. And over the last 4 days, we're down 10%. So it's for real. The 4-hour RSI on both the financial sector and the biotech sector got to the most extreme that it's been in a very long time. For the financial sector, it was the most extreme for any of this drop. And for the biotech sector, it was even more than the CVID dump. It got more extreme. So that just shows you the level of fear. And right now, the financial sector is trying to shape up an hourly higher low, trying to get a 4-hour oversold bounce going. But again, a lot of fear is the bottom line. And so with that, obviously, if there's fear in the entire market, and if it's dragging everything down with it, then there's going to be fear in crypto, which is high risk, high reward, and subject to fear. So here we have Bitcoin, and we know Bitcoin bears have been in complete control this whole time. And we looked and said, okay, there's maybe a 12-hour falling wedge, but that's only if we put our bull glasses on and if the bulls are going to show up right here, right now. And obviously that didn't happen. We fell right through support. And now Bitcoin's monthly consolidation is underway. The bounce right off EMA 12. Again, these EMAs are the EMA 12. You so often reject off that level the first time you test it. Remember when we played the oversold bounce on the initial flush down and the target was weekly EMA 12 and how perfectly that played out? You generally reject the first test. And so we just rejected the first test of the monthly. And so now the only way the bulls are going to turn this around is confirming the monthly uptrend with a higher low and higher high holding 15.4 thousand. So it's going to be a very telling next couple of months, and it is possible that we remain within this range, 15 to 25,000, for another 2-3 months. So keeping that in mind, but clear pullback on the monthly and bears in full control on all short-term timeframes. Appreciate the likes. We got a bunch of you. The fear brings everybody to the yard. But give me a like. Thanks. So Twitter, a couple things I want to talk about here. So just this point, some traders thrive in the volatility the last couple of days, others struggle. And the key is to know who you are as a trader, and you do that through tracking your results and keeping yourself in check, tracking your emotional state throughout the day. And you don't try and be something that you're not. I know some traders that don't like playing oversold bounces. I love playing them. I know some traders that don't love the volatility the last couple of days. I've had a really good 2 days of day trading stocks just because it fits my scalping short-term volatile trading style. And so there's nothing wrong. You don't have to thrive in this environment. You can take a step back. You can recognize this is not who I am as a trader. This is not my environment. I'm taking a step back and I'm waiting for things to settle down. And that's perfectly fine as well. But the key is to know who we are as a trader. And the only way to do that is observing yourself and tracking your results. Another point I want to make, the reason I've been trading on Coinbase, even though I hate it, is FDIC insurance. And with all of this bank now going under, the people that are covered by FDIC insurance are fine. They're going to get their money. The FDIC said the announcement that the insured depositors will have access to their deposits on Monday. And anybody with up to $250,000 is covered. And there are, Fidelity has accounts where if you have more than $250,000, they will spread it out into multiple banks. So you hear me talk about FDIC insurance so much over the last couple of years while people are suggesting all these other exchanges for me. This is why it's so important. This happens so fast. There's no, unless you're reading financial statements and really fundamentally savvy, this comes out of nowhere. And so I have to be protected. I'm not going to lose 6 figures by some company going under and taking my funds with it. So that's a lesson and a takeaway from this whole debacle as well. So now on to Bitcoin. So short term, I am in a bullish position on Bitcoin. And let's post it to prove I'm not a liar. So this morning, I made an entry. So I'm grabbing some sub 20,000 for a 4-hour oversold bounce play, small enough position size to not have any weekend stress, just going for a day maker on the bounce. So this isn't me being, I'm going aggressive here, anything like that, just day trade size. And why did I enter then? When was that? 6:37 a.m. So 6:37 a.m. is right here. Why did I enter there? Because that's when I woke up, in all honesty. If I probably would have entered on the first break of 20,000 if I was at the computer waiting for that trade. But as I mentioned many times, my crypto trading these days, I take a step back overnight. I'm not waking up in the middle of the night like I used to. And I just saw that, the 4-hour RSI was down in the single digits. The hourly had just seen a fresh, little flush down. And all right, that's extreme enough for me that I will make an entry down here. And then we had a bullish reaction to non-farm payrolls on the morning. And I exited a third of that position. And the reason I exited a third of that position on the move back over 20,000 is I can then, let's say my entry is with fees, let's just call it 19,750. And then if I sell half at 20,000, my break even is now pretty much the bottom, 19,575 would be my break even. So by selling a third on that spike, knowing that I'm trading counter long-term trends, knowing that a 4-hour lower high is the most likely scenario, I then take that profit to allow myself to just stick my stop under the low. I don't have anything to worry about this weekend. I don't have to watch the charts. I can check in, a couple times a day. If we drop down to fresh lows, I'll stop out and I'll have a loss of fees. It'll be insignificant. And if this bounce follows through, then I will make money. And that's the way that I trade. That is my style of trading, especially when counter trend on bounces. Always exiting a partial position into the bounce because I am now protected. This is a potential 4-hour bear flag, absolutely. We may drop down to a 4-hour lower high and lower low. And so that's worst case scenario for a bull. And so I am protected from the worst case scenario. This is daily oversold back burner. First oversold conditions on the daily from the multiple month bounce. But as we know, this is news. This is a news event. So RSI levels can get extreme in news events. But if we're going to see, best case scenario for the bulls, if we're going to set a monthly high or low, we know how the time frames interrelate with each other. Hourly oversold, we look for a daily high or low. Daily oversold, bulls want this to be the monthly high or low. I don't have any confidence in that, but if we were to be able to get a daily bounce going from here, it would be notable to me if this did mark a bottom into a more notable daily bounce. But again, there's very little sign for that at this point. Are we heading back down to fresh lows? Again, I'll talk about this in the long-term video over the weekend. This is a bear flag. So the bulls are not proving to us that this is not a bear flag. I'm on the 2-month time frame right now. It's a very weak bounce considering how much we dropped. And so we would have to confirm a monthly uptrend to negate this bear flag. And I don't have a lot of confidence one way or the other. There are setups and there are times when I have high conviction as a trader. And if you ask me, in Bitcoin, is that the fear bottom or are we going to break 15,000? I do not have high conviction for either answer. I don't know. 50-50. And you're going to find, a ton of traders and analysts on social media where they've got their dead set, I know what's going to happen mindset. And sometimes they're right, and that's great for them. That's not the way I trade. And you don't have to trade that way. And that's, I've proved time and time again that you can be a successful trader without attaching yourself to what you feel is a sure thing in terms of the direction. I'll have more information in 4 days from now. And then I'll have more information a week from now. And so I'm constantly just shifting my probability needle as I get that more information. So we have a weak bounce attempt. We got an hourly equilibrium. I'm viewing this as the low, high, higher, low, double top, trying for another higher low here. And it's possible we just tighten up for another 3-4 hours. If we break bull, that will try and negate the 4-hour bear flag. But if we want to keep it simple, as long as 4-hour EMA 12 is resistance, it's a potential 4-hour bear flag. And other than that, next levels we're looking at after the low of 19.5. Again, we didn't establish much support on the way up. So there are not many levels here. You can see there's a lot of price action around the low 18s. You're going to see a lot of people talking about this. Previous support, then resistance, must hold as support. I think I saw Cheds mention the low 18,000 range recently. So that's the most important level from here. The dominance chart is showing us that Bitcoin is leading the way down here. There's definitely some altcoins that are a lot uglier, but Bitcoin is one of the weaker names on this drop. Litecoin ended up being a great short. Even if you're not short Litecoin, there's a great lesson in this as we watched this trade shape up and then play out. Step 1 for the bears was confirming the 2-day head and shoulders. And then step 2 was this LTC BTC pattern, which we were talking about. Pay attention. This is really important when it breaks, blah, blah, blah. It could be the first downtrend that we've seen in months. And so the combination of the Litecoin US dollar bear break and then the LTC BTC bear break as it fell through this weekly support has led to a massive drop in Litecoin. And over the last few days, even from this break of 86, we dropped 20% in a few days. And this is some of the more extreme that Litecoin has gotten in a long time. It's back to a lead bear. As long as the LTC BTC chart is now in a daily downtrend, it's going to be a lead bear. So it's been a lead bear for the majority of its life. It had a brief window there of a chunk of months as a lead bull, but now that has shifted again. And so LTC BTC, we're now back to the monthly, and we're going to look for a monthly high or low. So lead bear forever, lead bull for 4 or 5 months, now back to lead bear, and we would have to confirm a monthly uptrend for bulls to prove anything to us. ETH dropping down as well. So ETH on the monthly, equilibrium, low, high, higher low, lower high, and now the bulls need to hold 1071. This is going to be a beauty. This is going to be a really nice tight monthly equilibrium. And we've seen in the past when we get nice and tight on the monthly, it precedes notable volatility. In an ideal world, we pull back for another red candle maybe, we hold 1071, we set a monthly high or low, and then into mid-year, maybe June, we look for a break of this pattern to see a large spike in volume, volatility, and opportunity. So we'll be keeping a close eye on that. ETH BTC, holding on. The 2-week high or low for this equilibrium continues to play out. In an ideal world, this tightens up as well, and the break of ETH BTC coincides with the break of the ETH USD monthly tightening range. Just like the break of Litecoin USD preceded briefly by a couple days the break of a long-term LTC BTC pattern. And they were both going in the same direction to give confidence. So we need to have both pairings making a break in the same direction to have confidence in that follow through. All right, I'm going to take some ChartGuys members requests. I got a list here. Feel free to ask any questions. Again, I've only got like 13 minutes here, so I'm a bit rushed. Appreciate those likes trickling in, slow and steady. So we're going to look at a bunch of names. I'll just give you the list right now. Sol, RNDR, KCS, SHIB, OP, ACH, XRP, Link, APT, LDO, and FIL. We'll see how many we get through. So Sol, and most things are going to be doing the same thing as Bitcoin. So we got the monthly consolidation underway. We must form monthly higher lows, or it's going to be back to significant fear in the crypto space. What I'm looking at now, I know what Bitcoin looks like. I would just be comparing everything to Bitcoin on the 4-hour time frame. So 4-hour sold chart, much bigger bounce than Bitcoin. We're hitting 4-hour EMA 12, but it's less likely to be a bear flag. At this point, the bounce is over 10%. Hourly, stair-step hourly bounce, broke bear, and now it's trying to have a bull flag by holding EMA support and breaking to a higher high. So it's a really nice bounce. Definitely one of the better bounces out there. But we know if this bounce is going to be a bottom, we've got to see the higher low and higher high as a result. Then we would zoom out and scout a 12-hour lower high or a daily lower high. Certainly a volume climax candle. Look at what this was. Volume climax, top of an uptrend. Is this the volume climax at the bottom of a downtrend? Maybe. But we have to confirm the 4-hour uptrend. Bulls would love one more leg up here just to create that extra space. Again, probabilities. You know, what's the probability that we can confirm a 4-hour uptrend on Sol right now? I'll go with 59%. If you give me one more higher high here on this hourly, if you give me this, even if it doesn't follow through a whole lot, if you give me that little hourly higher high, that probability then goes to 64%. I'm just making those numbers up, but that's roughly, you know, every little bit of info shifts things for me because that then gives us more space. That shows a little bit more bull follow through. RNDR, 4-hour bounce, pretty solid. Hourly, same thing. We don't have an uptrend. It's just a stair-step bounce that broke, and now it's trying this little bull flag. Very similar to Sol. Same thing. We got to confirm the 4-hour uptrend from here for a daily bounce to try and shape up. If you're not in a position, if you're not in bull positions, you're scouting 4-hour higher lows on names that have bounced more significantly. Bears are scouting 4-hour bearish entries. Aggressive bears. Patient bears are waiting for daily lower highs. So again, know who you are as a trader. Do you want to be aggressive or conservative? An aggressive bull is looking for the 4-hour high or low. A conservative bull is not doing anything until we bounce big enough on the daily to then scout a daily high or low. Aggressive bear is starting to get interested as 15-minute RSI levels head up towards overbought conditions. Again, we're in reverse backburner mode. So 5-minute RSI spiking above 70, marked a temporary top. Now we got 15-minute RSI just kissing 70, marked a temporary top. So again, we can use these RSI levels as reverse backburners, keeping an eye on them for the aggressive bears that are scouting entries on 4-hour lower highs. KCS, solid 4-hour bounce. Looks like that drop was a lot more severe than many other names. Hourly does have a little dinky trend change there. But again, we're going to look for 4-hour EMA 12. The 15-minute RSI is overbought. I don't know what's going on. This trading action is very unusual. There's a wall of resistance here, clearly. I would want to check around on other exchanges, see is this just on one exchange? Are we seeing this elsewhere? But have to, when we top out, when we lose the 15-minute uptrend, loss of the 15-minute uptrend is usually the first indication that our 4-hour lower high is set. The loss of the 15-minute uptrend, we then zoom out, we scout the 4-hour high or low. Can we confirm the trend change? Watch the retracement size. This is a solid retracement size. This is how we can compare individual names as well. So the bounce retracement here is 45% or so. What is the Bitcoin bounce retracement? Much less, not even 382. SHIB. So SHIB 4-hour bounce. Not too impressive at this point. Definitely weaker than the last couple we've looked at. 1035 resistance. Bulls want to see, again, just as much upside as possible before we top out to create the space for the trend change attempt. And 4-hour uptrend. Nice little guide here. Double bottom at 1011. 4-hour EMA 12 resistance coming into play. Must confirm the 4-hour uptrend. I don't know what kind of bird that is, but I like it. I left my hose on. 1 minute. I do that a lot. XRP. Nope, OP. OP, 4-hour, very weak bounce. One of the weakest bounce we've looked at yet. So this is more in line with Bitcoin. We got an hourly equilibrium, same as Bitcoin. We're tightening up here. So bulls have to see another leg up, otherwise it's a 4-hour bear flag. As far as the weekly pullback and the monthly consolidation, it's less significant than many other names. We have a lot more space for a monthly higher low to be the result of this consolidation. So that's worth noting on the longer term time frames. But on the 4-hour, definitely still very weak. Must break that tightening hourly range bullish. Otherwise, probability of a 4-hour bear flag is very likely. Did we already look at ACH? No. So ACH, we're looking for a weekly higher low here. So a very different setup. Weekly stair step, broke bear. We're looking for a weekly higher low with EMA 12 support coming into play. 4-hour, anything under 3051 is just a lower high. And we need more bounce here because we don't have 50% retracement. If we're going to see a big enough bounce to try and shape up a 4-hour trend change, we need 50% retracement on that bounce. A Ren, thanks for that. That's what the bird was. XRP, holding support. So XRP we know was standing out strong. Obviously the wrong time to try and make a bull move. But we got a downtrend resistance on the daily now to be watching. And now we had a 12-hour bull or a 12-hour falling wedge break bull, and now I'm watching it on the daily. So let's just draw what the 12-hour was, just to see how it looks now. This is where I had it. Yeah, we're bouncing off that downtrend support line. And this was the resistance break that took place. So really all that's changing here is the daily downtrend resistance line. It is still a possible falling wedge on the daily, and we do still have relative strength. XRP BTC is making its move up. And again, before this move took place, why we were watching for XRP is watch for more than just one day on these green moves. And now we have that, and we have the volume. And the last time Mana did that, this was the start, and then we did this. And obviously it's a different market environment, but XRP bulls are hoping that this move tops out in a daily move just like that. So what does that mean? Next daily consolidation, bulls want to hold EMA support on the back test and then rock it up with huge volume. XRP is still worth keeping an eye on as it got to the strongest it's been relative to Bitcoin in 6 weeks. Still not, a huge change, but it's change enough to get our attention for the monthly higher low that is now set on XRP BTC. We got 3 minutes. Link, 4-hour bounce, EMA 12 resistance dropping down, trying to get to that 50% retracement. Need one more leg up here to do so. Aggressive bears are going to be watching for potential rising wedges. If we get a bull break here with no follow through, keep an eye out for a rising wedge to mark a 4-hour lower high. 15-minute rising wedge can potentially mark a 4-hour lower high. Any individual names that break to a higher high on the bounce with no follow through, try and draw a 15-minute rising wedge and see if that's what's shaping up. APT, solid bounce, over 50% retracement. Also not that significant a bear break from where we just came from. This 12-hour downtrending support, I would have it broken, but didn't break by much. Need the 4-hour trend change just like everybody else. And again, watch those weekly stair steps. Stair step up, it wasn't a perfect stair step down because of this little wick there. But we are looking for a weekly higher low. I don't view that as enough of a bounce for a weekly higher low. We're going to be watching. This is where we look for an equilibrium. 50% plus retracement after huge volatility, no volume red flags. We're going to look for a bounce and then a weekly lower high. But obviously Bitcoin's got a bottom if we're going to get any kind of meaningful weekly bounce going. All right, into the home stretch here. LDO, 12-hour EMA 12, 4-hour EMA 12 resistance test right now. 191 support, trying to hold. Weekly's got to be cautious of the head and shoulders next time we bounce. Even if we hold the uptrend here, there is space for a weekly lower high to be the result of the next bounce. Got to get over 4-hour EMA 12 for any kind of bounce follow through. Fill, 4-hour bear flag, that's the weakest bounce we've looked at on all the list. Daily downtrend very clear. We're still looking for a weekly higher low here as well, but gave back a ton of it. Again, head and shoulders will be on the table after the next weekly bounce, depending on what it looks like. But this is a very weak 4-hour bounce, and it's a bear flag unless we see a move up towards the upper $5 range. All right. Appreciate you all watching. Membership giveaway on social media later this evening. And long-term video over the weekend, probably tomorrow midday. Appreciate you watching. Do good things. Protect any bounce trade attempts. We can always see another leg down. And depending on how we close, keep an eye on the market here and how we close, because obviously that's going to impact sentiment over the weekend. If we close at the lows, there's a bunch of fear. Trying to get a bounce going here into the end of the day. I gave up my biotech sector oversold bounce to be with you all, and it got some really nice follow through. Look at the stair step. I cannot stress enough. Trading is not easy. Trading is not simple, but once you get the concepts down, use the stair step as your friend. This bull break on this stair step, I was trading the leveraged ETF LABU 467, and just like that, you get a 6% gain just by the stair step. You know you're oversold. You wait for the sign that a temporary bottom is being set. All right. Google chart guys stair step. See ya.